Well, after yesterday's earthquake in central Kentucky, a lot of you wanted to know if we should expect more shaking. Well, today's good question is, how common are aftershocks? Here's our Victor Puente with the answer to that good question.
Aftershocks are very common. They can be dangerous following a larger earthquake, but for smaller quakes, they can go unnoticed. Seth Carpenter, a geologist with the Kentucky Geological Survey at UK, tells me that there most likely were aftershocks following that quake in Garrett County, but it's unlikely anyone felt them. When earthquakes are classified, the earthquakes with the largest magnitude is called the main shock. Quakes before it, those are called a foreshock, and anything after is an aftershock. Those aftershocks drop in intensity and rate. USGS has an aftershock forecast overview, but they only post those for earthquakes of magnitude 4 or greater in the contiguous United States or 5 or greater in other parts of the world. So the earthquake from over the weekend wasn't strong enough for them to include in that forecast. If you have a good question, just email us, goodquestion@wkyt.com. I'll see you on WKYT Mornings.